The NFC Championship preview and picks for the NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 15% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head over to cut.com, KUTT.com, promo code SGPN to get a 10% deposit bonus today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Get over there, 15% off everything in the store until the end of the playoffs with the promo code PLAYOFFS.
I'm just about that action, boss.
You have to be kidding me. That is impossible.
I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants any deal?
Jordan Davis, dog. Jalen Hurts, dog. A.J. Brown, dog. How many of you want to eat a doggy tonight?
And welcome, everybody, to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Well, here we are, Thursday, January the 25th. It is the final four. We started with 32. Now we're down to 4. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. that's the other show. Moneyline Mac. That's what I am on this show. He is J-Mark Football, a.k.a. Old Fashioned Football. This is a problem when you do too many shows. I mean, we do the college experience. We do Old Fashioned Football. You know, you mix and match. I am still the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin, but that's mainly on the college experience. This is the NFL Gambling Podcast, so I'm just Moneyline Mac over here. But he's J-Mark Football, a.k.a. Old Fashioned Football. What's up, man?
Hey, man, you can be whoever you want to be. I believe that.
I'm in the playoffs, like Ron Rivera.
That's right. Yeah, it's national. I mean, you said Mr. Old Fashioned. It's not an old fashioned, but it's National Irish Coffee Day.
Oh, yeah.
I've got my Keeper's Heart Irish American here in my coffee, so I am set to go. And I can't believe we're one game. Well, I guess 2 games technically. We're 2 games away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man, it's sad. Like I said, and I think I said this 2-3 weeks ago, or I think it was week 18. I was like, man, cherish these games because before you know it, we're not going to have them, and we're not going to have football again until September. But go check out our recap show. We recapped the divisional round where on Saturday the Ravens defeated the Texans, the Niners defeated the Packers. Sunday the Lions defeated the Buccaneers, and unfortunately for us, the Chiefs prevailed and they defeated our Buffalo, at least my Buffalo Bills. So, J-Mark, initial thoughts as we head into Championship Sunday. A good doubleheader, 3 Eastern over on CBS. We will get Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs headed to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. 2 guys that going to have multiple MVPs, it sounds like, because I think Lamar's going to win it again. And then in the nightcap, we got Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, the Biting Kneecaps, Detroit Lions, a magical season, headed west to the Bay Area to take on Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, that defense, and that talented roster in the San Francisco 49ers. Thoughts as we have 3 NFL games left for the whole year?
Man, I think both these games should be really good. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but I think they all just match up well, and it's going to be really interesting. Like the game we're going to talk about, Detroit's run defense is really, really good, and 49ers, I mean, they're built on running the ball with Christian McCaffrey. So it's going to be interesting to see how they game plan around that, especially with maybe Debo being hurt. And then Ravens Bills, I mean, do you root for the Chiefs to get their dynasty? Does Lamar get his first? I mean, there's so many storylines there for the Lions. I mean, getting their first Super Bowl, Goff getting there with the Lions, taking them there, and then Mr. Irrelevant potentially getting in the Super Bowl just 2 years after he's Mr. Irrelevant is pretty crazy.
Well, and you could potentially have you sneak peeked it where you could have a Super Bowl rematch from 4 years ago where we had one of the more exciting Super Bowls before the whole world shut down was that Chiefs and Niners Super Bowl, kind of the last
Yeah.
one. That was the last major sporting event before everything went haywire and everybody lost their minds. But you look at it, man. Kansas City's going to have a shot. Yeah, I know we're diving in the NFC, but if you're just chalking it up that Baltimore is going to pound them because they're the 1 seed, good luck, man. I think if Baltimore does get it done, it's going to be a hard fought game. You're not just going to walk all over Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. As much as we don't like the Chiefs, man, you got to respect and tip your cap. They always find a fucking way to win these games, kind of like that team in New England for all those years with Brady and Belichick.
Yeah, for sure. I almost wonder if some of the Travis Kelce retirement rumors, because it's not been confirmed or denied necessarily. I mean, why isn't he the one behind those? Just kind of releasing it, say to somebody, hey, release this, because he knows that's going to fire the team up. Hey, this may be Trav's last year. We got to get it done for him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Travis Kelce, real quick, I saw that he almost went to play basketball for your West Virginia Mountaineers. Did you see this story?
Yeah, I've known about this for years.
Have you?
It's
And
yeah,
his dad said, you made a fucking commitment. You stick to it.
he would have been a hell of a basketball player, just his size, athleticism. But yeah, we could have used him. But I think he chose the right one, and now he's a Swiftie. So
Yeah, exactly.
so he's not going to be playing basketball. He can play basketball here in a couple of weeks because he might be unemployed, or not even unemployed, but he'll be retired and he'll just be on the Swiftie tour for the next year. So I'll be interested. I'll make a prediction right now. I bet you Kelce retires and comes back after a year, just like Gronkowski did.
Yeah, I think so.
Let the body heal.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if maybe he wants to retire because his brother's likely retiring, and maybe they do some sort of media thing together. I mean, they already got the podcast that people love. So maybe they dive into media together. I don't know. But yeah, I could see him coming back too. Because, I mean, I know he's older, but he still plays at a pretty high level. I know we saw him take a little step back this year. He's still, I mean, fantasy football wise, second, third best tight end that you could have. I mean, dude's still a beast.
Yeah, he is a beast. And let's before we dive into the game, let's talk a little off the field right now. So Jim Harbaugh, we got some coaching vacancies finally filled. Harbaugh going to LA. Herbert's out of excuses now. If he doesn't find a way to fucking get a couple playoff runs, and you need to start looking internally in the mirror and saying, is he the actual guy, the franchise quarterback that we kind of crowned him to be? Earlier today, it sounds like Dave Canales, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is going to take the Carolina job. He's staying in division. I thought he did a great job with Baker in that offense this year.
For sure.
And Belichick, it seems like Atlanta is going to be the destination, but still TBD.
It's weird to me that he hasn't been swiped up, because now I'm hearing that Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator, is in Atlanta today, and a lot of people are saying they'll be surprised if he leaves without a contract or an agreement. So then what does Bill Belichick do? I mean, this is crazy.
Well, and it seems like what's his name? Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, is going to get the Skins job. So that's another one off the book. I'm surprised that Philly, Dallas, and Buffalo, none of them made changes. That kind of shocked me, especially when you have arguably the greatest head coach of all time out there. You got Mike Vrabel out there. You got Pete Carroll out there.
Yeah.
Are you shocked by that? I
am. Especially with the Bill Belichick. I mean, a legendary coach. I don't know if maybe the owners and the GMs that are already in place, just they don't want to deal with the ego. I don't know. I can't even wrap my mind around why he has not been hired yet.
It is wild. And I just saw that report that you're talking about, that it seems like Belichick, he may not get a job. I think you may be right. I'm kind of surprised by this. It's the other thing. And Schefter did make a good point. You remember when Brady retired? Nobody really wanted Brady other than Tampa and I think Vegas, but then they ended up sticking with Carr. So it's kind of been weird that arguably the greatest coach and the greatest quarterback of all time, when they hit it late in their careers, nobody wanted them. So I don't know. Just food for thought before we dive into this NFC Championship game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, before we do so, we are brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a great way to play along and stack winners on top of winners. J Mark and promo code SGPN right there. Watch on youtube.com/the NFL Gambling Podcast. 100% deposit match up to $100. J Mark, what are we thinking about here?
Yeah, we can dive into some of these a little bit more in depth, but they are running a promo right now for the next 75 hours. So go grab it. Christian McCaffrey, more than half a rushing yard. Hopefully that's not like a jinx, like Aaron Rodgers was jinxed of needing more than half a passing yard and never got it before the season started. I mean, that's an obvious one that you got to jump on, and you can wrap that up with various bets that we're going to kind of talk about here, or various entries that we're going to talk about. So yeah, jump on that. It's only available for 75 more hours.
You heard the man. Get over there, get down on the action, and maybe make a little bit of cash over on Prize Picks. And they're great. Just get over there. They got the reboot policy in case your guy gets injured. PrizePicks.com/SGPN. Code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. That is PrizePicks.com/SGPN. Code SGPN. Prize Picks Daily Fantasy Sports made easy. All righty. We're back on the NFL Gambling Podcast. All right, man. Enough beating around the bush. Let's dive into the game. We have the night game. Go check out Terrell and Scott. They're going to dive into the matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. I think everybody already knows where Terrell's going to be. He's going to be on the Chiefs because he picks them every week. The San Francisco 49ers come in, obviously red hot. They gave off an elimination last week. They find a way. They're laying 7. I'm seeing the over-under at 51.5. There is a 7.5 out there at a former sponsor. So shop around if you want the Lions, and there is a 7.5 out there. Before we give out our picks and kind of our angles, J Mark, just initial thoughts on the matchup between the Niners and Lions. First thing that comes to mind for me is this kind of might be a track meet.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, both teams very good at stopping the run. Niners better at stopping the pass, obviously, than the Lions. The Niners were 14th against the pass. Lions 31st, terrible against the pass. But the Niners are built more as a run-first team, whereas the Lions, I mean, they're probably one of the most balanced teams in football. They were last year. I didn't see the stats this year, but last year it was 51% pass, 49% rush, most balanced team. Seems like it's been more of that this year. So yeah, I think the way to take advantage of both these defenses is going to be in the air. And I think that's going to lead to some high scoring. I'm all over the over on this one as well. I know we're not necessarily picking totals, but definitely on the over.
Into it all. We're diving
into
it all. Yeah, and another note, this is not going to be a playoff weather. They're calling for 70 fucking degrees. This is awful. I was pissed off when I saw this. The other game, at least in Baltimore, I think at least in Baltimore, it's going to be around 40. So that's some football weather. But my initial thing, man, 49ers, basically the best offense in the league. And the Lions, obviously a top 5 unit themselves, is I don't see how the Lions stop them defensively. I think the Lions are going to be able to move the ball, but I think the Niners kind of found a way. They survived every playoff run. I think the favorite has to survive one game where you don't have it. They didn't have it when Debo went out.
Yeah.
It kind of took the air out of the building. I think their offense didn't run the same way it was. The Packers did have success on the ground. Aaron Jones going for 18 rushes for 108 yards. The Lions should be able to run the ball with Gibbs, but this is more so. I know it's in warm weather, but I don't trust Jared Goff away from the domes. It still is going to be on grass. I trust this Niners team. Kyle Shanahan to scheme some things up, get McCaffrey going early, get Debo going early. I know he's going to be questionable. He's going to play. This is the NFC Championship. If you're questionable, you're going to play. And I think that opens up the passing game with Kittle and Ayuk, and they get some big chunk plays. And it's more a fade on the Lions defense that I don't think they're going to be able to stop this Niners juggernaut offense after last week was a little bit of a disappointing effort. I look for them to right the ship. So I'm going to lay the 7. I don't think they're going to win by like 30. Don't get me wrong. It's the NFC Championship. I think I'll say 2 on the score. Let me think of a score. I think they get a late touchdown to put it away is more so my angle.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you that the Lions are not going to be able to stop the 49ers. At the same time, I think the Lions are going to be able to pull a little bit from what the Packers did. The Packers moved the ball a lot better than we both expected on the 49ers. And I think the Lions are going to be able to pull from that a little bit. The biggest thing for me, I mean, obviously both these teams, they've had great historic runs this year. They've done well. Niners have been in the conversation for a couple of years now. It's just been some injury mishaps, some quarterback play. The Lions coming out of, I won't say nowhere because they really started heating up last year, right? But they really poured it on this year, and they're feisty. This Lions team is feisty, and that starts with their head coach, Dan Campbell. I mean, you just look at the dude and you don't want to meet him in the back of an alley. You don't want to piss him off. You don't want to put the line that he's huge, and just that energy. He's got kind of that macho energy, right? That he alpha type stuff that he brings to the field. I think the Niners win this game. I think that if you're looking at just money lines, I'm taking them, but I think it's a 6-point win. I'm taking the Lions to cover the 7. I love it if you can get it at 7.5. I like that even better, obviously. But yeah, I could see this being just a 6-point game because I do think it's going to be a feisty game. Yeah,
I'm with you. Do you think it's a comeback win, or do you think do you think they let up at the end and Detroit backdoors it to lose by 6?
That's kind of how I see it going. Niners have a strong lead most of the game, and then Detroit kind of pours it on a little bit. Though, I mean, historically, even this year, the Niners tend to let up towards the end, unless they're playing the Bears when they come back from 17 points and with like 5 minutes or something stupid left like that. God, we should have beat them. Not still bitter, I promise. But yeah, and Serial pointing out team total for the Niners 28.5. What do you think on that?
I like the over, and I'm just looking at it too for just the last 3 games, and one of the games was Mullins. The Vikings were only able to score 20. The Rams, were only 23, and the Bucks were 23. But all 3 had over 400 yards of offense. The Bucks moved the ball at will as well last week, and the Rams they were able to cause costly turnovers that ultimately helped the line. So a little bend but don't break. But I don't think they're going to be able to bend and not break against the Niners. I think the Niners are going to be able to put the ball in the end zone. They're really good in the red zone. We talked about it. They played tight last week. I think they relax here. I'll go 34-20 Niners onto the Super Bowl.
I like it. I'm thinking 30-24 with the Lions being down 30-17 with like 2 minutes left. They end up getting that touchdown to close the gap and backdoor cover. And all the Niners bettors are like, what the fuck? But at that point, the Niners are just focused on the Super Bowl and staying healthy. So they let Detroit in one last time there. I think if you're thinking of losing, the losing team, this is a much more disappointing loss and more devastating if Niners lose, right?
Oh yeah, I mean this is house money for the Lions fan. I mean, I know Cereal's in the chat. Cereal, this is as good as it gets. Like but at the same time, J Mark too, you can't always assume you're going to get back. We keep talking about Josh Allen and the Bills going to the AFC title game. What was it, 2020? They haven't been back. So The Jaguars, we thought that they'd be a shoo-in to get back to the AFC divisional round. They didn't even make the fucking playoffs. So
Right.
you just don't really know. And if you have an opportunity, it's hard to swallow when you're this close to getting to the Super Bowl. But if you're the Niners, man, you can't lose this game. You have the best roster in football. I guess you can make the argument for the Ravens. I'd still say top to bottom, it's the Niners. The Niners have to get this done. They haven't been to the Super Bowl since that Kansas City game that I talked about. They last year was a disappointing game in Philly because they got injured. Yeah, when what's his name? Purdy got injured, and then Josh Johnson got injured, and then they ran Wildcat with Christian McCaffrey the rest of the game. And then the year before that, man, they're kicking themselves in that Rams NFC title game because they were the better team that day, and they collapsed on the stretch. They probably think that they should have won the Super Bowl that year. So this is the third straight NFC title game in 3 years. I think they get this one done. I think this is the one where they erase all those demons and they get across the finish line. And it's the first one they've had at home since they beat the shit out of the Packers in 2019, which I know you loved every second of that.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. This is the Niners game to win. I think they do win. I just see Detroit staying feisty.
Yeah, I hope we get a good game. I'm thinking another game that's in my mind, that Kansas City Buffalo game that I talked about, where the team, you could tell the team that had been there before versus the team where the moment was too big on the road. It still is too big because they keep losing to the fucking Chiefs. So, but yeah, hopefully the Lions will be able to get back if they do fall. Me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing the Lions win. I picked the Lions to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the playoffs, but now that I just see the matchup and the way those games played out last week, I like the matchup better for San Francisco. Let's get to some props. All right. What do we want to kick off with? Do we want to kick off with some ATDs, anytime touchdowns?
I got a 33-1 loaded right now for anytime touchdowns.
Who we got?
So we got Christian McCaffrey. That's an easy one, right?
Yeah, he's like minus 340, isn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Unreal.
George Kittle, because it's playoff Kittle right now. He's playing at a high level.
I like it.
Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery was the kind of the touchdown king in Detroit all year, but playoffs, Gibbs is really taken over. And then Josh Reynolds, the Niners are really good at covering your slot guys, your tight ends. It's those outside receivers that sometimes they struggle with. And anytime touchdowns, this is looking at Hall of Fame bets, which if you don't have, get it. The Niners are 22nd in allowing anytime touchdowns to outside wide receivers. So I could see it being him because they're going to focus on stopping Amon-Ra. They're going to focus on stopping Sam Laporta. Josh Reynolds has really started to pick up his play these last couple of games. He had 80 yards against the Rams, only 27 against the Bucs, but he did get a touchdown. So yeah, McCaffrey, Kittle, Gibbs, and Reynolds, it's just 33-1. And I am placing my bet now for everybody that says, oh, you gave out a loser. Well, I'm putting my money on it too. So
there you go. I like it. Anytime touchdown guys I'm looking at. I know they just signed Ertz. I don't think Ertz is going to get in the end zone. I'm going to go Debo. Debo plus 100. I think Debo, he's back. I think it's going to be a statement to get him involved. I like Kittle at 100-1. I'm not touching McCaffrey at minus 340. He probably gets in there. Obviously, he gets in every fucking game, but I'm not laying that kind of juice. On the Lions side, if I had to pick somebody, I like, man, Reynolds had that big touchdown last week. He's 10-1 right now.
Yeah.
I like St. Brown, man. He's always golf's go-to guy when the game's hard. He's always open. So I got to get some of Armand St. Brown. He's at plus 130. So those would be the three guys I'm going to get get down on and make a profit as long as 2 out of the 3 hit. I think all 3 can hit. So
Yeah,
I'll lay
for
with
sure.
those. Real quick, I forgot to get us paid before we dive into the first time touchdown and any over under on yardage props that J Mark likes. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S. based and legal in 40 states. Head over to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use the promo code SGPN for a deposit bonus today. Also brought to you by those Hall of Fame bets that J Mark was talking about. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets. Research every NFL, NBA, soccer with historical data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with the Hall of Fame Bets. And last but not least, we're brought to you by the SGPN merch store. 15% off everything in the store now to the end of the playoffs. Promo code playoffs. We're competing against every other show for a bonus. So get over there and help our shows out and get your favorite item. Come on, get down. Let's go. All righty, we're back on the NFL Gambling Podcast. Serial, you read my mind. I was just about to say, if it gets late and golf's trying to squeeze it into a window, Niners plus 380 is what I'm seeing for anytime touchdown.
I like it. We got a couple others in the chat here. Nick Fortune saying Laporta, Kittle, anytime touchdown, going with those Iowa tight ends. Goff and Purdy, 2
White
passing
guys.
touchdowns. CMC, anytime touchdown. And over points is 11-1. I like that.
I like it too.
And then Steven saying Purdy 2+ touchdowns. Kittle, Ayuk, CMC receiving yards. Goff 255.5 plus. San Francisco to cover and over San Francisco's team total on his. It's 30.5. That's 40-1, even juicier.
Boom! I love it. Here, we'll let's run through it this way. I'll read off the over unders. We'll go off DraftKings because they are the most recent sponsor on the NFL Gambling Podcast. Brock Purdy passing yards 278.5.
278.5.
Yeah, that's high.
That is high. You can get it at Prize Picks for 276.5. And I still think that's high. I know Detroit's defense is bad. I get that against the pass. They're 31st for yards versus quarterbacks, but Brock Purdy hasn't hit this in the last 4 games. I got Hall of Fame bets open right now. Last 4 games, he's not gone over this mark. You got to go back to December 10th against Seattle. And I don't see him getting over that. I think they want to try to control the clock a little bit, even though we think it's going to be a track meet. They're still going to want to get the run involved in there. They're going to mix things up. There's going to be some reverses with Debo. So I think that's too high. I'm on the under.
I'm going to go over because of the narrative all week that he's a system quarterback. He's going to be the reason they lose. I think it's a fuck you game from Brock Purdy. I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder this week. So I'm going to go over. I think he gets into 300s. I mean, they got torched by Baker last week. I think Purdy and Baker are very similar. So I think they open it up and Purdy cooks, as they say. Golf, 260.5. What do you think?
So yeah, and just another insight. I know we already talked about Hall of Fame bets, but I do love Hall of Fame bets. Last 3, he's gone over 260.5 100% of the time. Last 5, 80% of the time. Last 10, 60%. And then on the season, he's 58% going over 260.5. Last time he didn't was against Minnesota, where he had 257. You have to drop to December 10th again that we just talked about for the Niners against Chicago when he only had 161. I think they're going to have to pass to keep up. So I'm going to take the over on Goff.
Take the over as well. I don't love it, though.
Yeah, same.
McCaffrey, 85.5. Over.
This is the one that's tough for me because the Lions are actually first ranked against rushing yards to running backs, but it is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what makes it so tough for me. It's like, do you go for the unstoppable guy or the immovable object of the defense there? I'm going to zag a little bit. I'm going to say under, and Detroit gives up the 18th most receiving yards to running backs. I think McCaffrey does it in the air, not on the ground.
I like that angle. You know what? You swayed me. I'll go under with you because I said a big day from Purdy.
Yeah.
I think they limit McCaffrey's touches for the Super Bowl. The load management here, even though they're not load managing in the NFC title game. It was a joke, everybody. But I think they do air it out more. Both Lions running backs, I'm seeing Montgomery, 43.5. Gibbs, 47.5. You can run on the Niners. You can run on the Niners ever since they got fucking Chase Young.
Right. What was Monty's again? 44.5?
43.5.
43. All right. I mean, he's hitting that at an 81% success on the season, but 33% the last three. However, I think this is kind of a bounce back. He did not look good against the Bucks. Jahmyr Gibbs really came in and took over. Monty is a vet. I think this is kind of a bounce back for him where he gets those tough, grinded out yards. So I'm going to take the over on Monty.
I like Monty too. I'll take the bounce back. I like that angle. I like Gibbs over too, man. He can break it in one or two plays. That guy is just so explosive. I think the Lions will definitely try and run the football. That'll be their way of trying to stay in the game. So I'll take over on both those backs, under on McCaffrey for us. Receiving.
Just real quick for Gibbs, I really like his receiving yards. Niners are 24th in giving receiving yards to running backs. They're the 24th worst. So I like taking Gibbs in that receiving game because they like to get him involved in many different ways.
Yeah. Well, you stole it right from me because I was about to name off the lines here. I got St. Brown, 83.5. I got Gibbs at 22.5. You're on the over. You've already said that. Jameson Williams, 28.5. Josh Reynolds, 35.5. And our guy, Sam Laporta, at 49.5.
Yeah, I don't love the Amon-Ra St. Brown angle. I think he's a great player, but those are a lot of yards. The Niners are pretty good at covering the slot and covering those speedy type receivers. Like I said, they tend to get more of the outside guys that take advantage of them. But I don't trust Jameson Williams, so that's why I'm going with Josh Reynolds. That's why I took him for my anytime touchdown. I like him over on his yards too.
I agree on St. Brown. He had 14 targets last week. I think the Niners are going to make a conscious effort to try and take him out of the game to the best that they can do. I like Laporta over. I mean, when the game's hard, you always go to your tight end. I like Laporta. I know he's banged up still, but hey, man, he's Laporta. So I like Gibbs as well with you, so I'm on that one. 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, 81.5. They do not have Debo out yet because he's technically questionable. You got George Kittle, 61.5. Christian McCaffrey, 37.5. Over on McCaffrey, you've already said that one, and I agree with you there. Yep.
And I like over on Kittle. Detroit's 22nd against tight ends, also 20th in allowing anytime touchdowns. So that's why I like him as a touchdown. Ayuk's line seems high, but he's just got those games where he pops off too, especially if Debo's on the field and they're accounting for Debo. So that's a big thing to me. If Debo doesn't play, I don't necessarily like Ayuk's as much. If Debo does play, I like Ayuk's line, but I like Kittle's either way and Christian McCaffrey's.
I like over on all of them. I'm with you, especially on those other two. But I like Ayuk too because Mike Evans was open the entire day the other day against this Lions secondary. So I like, and same with Puka Nacua. I think there's holes in that secondary. I think Ayuk, those crossing patterns where Purdy does a beautiful job of just dumping it over the zone coverage. I think there's big chunk plays to be had tomorrow, or Sunday that is. So I'll take over on Ayuk. See what happens when Debo. You may want to wait on Ayuk because if he is cleared, that number may come down. But yeah, we'll see. So
yeah, Ayuk. So his average is 80.8 receiving yards a game. Last two though, 32 and 25. But before that, he was over 102 games. So that's why he's he's really hit and miss. It seems like.
Agreed. Real quick, before we get into Lock Dog, let's talk the other game. Any last bets you want to throw out here on this NFC title game? This is the worst part about only having two games is you're just digging for so much. I like the volume, man. I like when there's more games.
Yeah. So this does involve both games. And credit to Mr. Fortune. He's the one that pointed it out to me, and I really liked it. Let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. each team to score 1+ rushing touchdown in both championship games. So it's 5-1. You know, you think the Lions, they run the ball a lot around the red zone. The Niners have Christian McCaffrey, who could always break one open and score.
Yep.
Ravens obviously run the ball a shit ton. And the Chiefs, I think that they're going to try to get Pacheco involved at that red zone. So I really like that one at 5-1.
I like that one too. I'm going to actually bet that as we speak. So, official pick for the AFC title game. Do you have one?
Chiefs cover, Ravens win.
Chiefs win. I think the Chiefs get it done again. I think they find a way. Lamar doesn't have a good day. Lamar has some turnovers. And Mahomes has the ball last, and they went on a field goal. So, yeah,
I'm still sitting on my Ravens at 7.5-1 to win the Super Bowl. Why are you trying to ruin that? Come on.
Well, the fucking Mahomes fucking ruined all my Bills futures last week. Now it's time to ruin yours.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, I just think that's going to be a fantastic game. Like I said, I'd be really, really surprised if it was a blowout.
Do you think the defenses on all four teams will hold strong and there'll be a lot of field goals?
Yes. Not so much. I don't think Detroit will.
Okay. And say, because you can get each team to score 2+ field goals in the championship games at 12-1. Kind of like that too. Just, I mean, at 12-1, you can just sprinkle a little bit on it. Doesn't have to be a lot. And it's one of those things like, hey, I lost $5, or hey, shit, I won 65, you know?
I like looking at Kansas City, like their box score last week was not good in terms of they were on the field defensively for like 80 plays of the game, but I'm just not going against that culture in big games. When the Ravens like the Bills with Lamar have not proven they can win the big game yet. Everybody's crowning the Ravens because they beat CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, who's a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. This is a whole different step up.
It is.
Taking on arguably, well, definitely now the best coach in the NFL and definitely the best fucking quarterback. He's shout out to Flagrant 2 Spew. He had a tough loss on the Temple Owls last night. They fucking led. So hopefully, yeah. Let's hit a winner tonight. Let's go North Texas over SMU so that your daughter doesn't have to eat hard-boiled eggs again.
I'm adding that to that parlay. Texas.
North Texas, North Texas in the Battle of Dallas. All right, J Mark, let's get into lock, dog, and there's no tease opportunities really. Lock.
Oh man, this is.
I think we both like the over, right?
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say I like the Lions to cover, but I don't know if I like it so much to lock it. I like locking the over. That's a good one.
Yeah, so we're both on the over in that game. Let me look at an alt line for my dog.
You look at that. I'll give mine out. Dog, first touchdown scorer. I thought I placed a bet on him last week, only to find out it didn't submit. George Kittle, 7.5-1. I think he does it again.
I like it. I like that. Alt line with San Francisco. If they blow this thing open late, let's go 13.5. Actually, what if we go 14.5? No, I think they win by 14. So San Francisco minus 13.5, plus 166 for my dog.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Oops. Juke pointing out as Broncos fan kills him softly when he hears about KC and how good they are, only because he can't argue it.
Dude, it is what it is. It's last week. I was so sure they were going to lose. Finally, I was like, this is the time, and they won. And I just watched that whole game, and Mahomes was just completely in control, hostile environment, never phased. I'm just like, Tom Brady. This feels like the Tom Brady thing all over again. We'll see if the Ravens can get it done. The Ravens are the most talented team in that conference. I think they do have a better defense than the Bills. But
Sure.
it just feels like whenever you get pressure on Mahomes, he finds a way to get out of it, and then he's most dangerous because then he's got his eyes downfield and he's finding either Kelsey or one of those receivers, and all of a sudden the receivers are catching the ball now. All season, they didn't catch the ball. It was the fucking Bills who dropped the balls. Cough, cough, fucking Stephon bitch ass Diggs after all that bitching he did in the offseason. Oh, I'm still so fucking pissed. Yeah, Steven makes a good point. They were getting fucking snowballs thrown at them in the entire game. I mean, Baltimore's gonna be hostile, but it won't be like Buffalo. That was Juke. He's having nightmares of Kelsey being naked. Which Kelsey? The other Kelsey? Oh man, the script's in. Niners, Chiefs. Here we go again. What's that parlay? Maybe I'll give that as my dog. Nah, I like the outline. I like the outline.
Well, now you got me curious, though, because I have Niners Ravens as parlays.
This might not be a bad hedge for you, man.
Right?
If you go Niners, Chiefs, that's plus 250. Money lines.
It's not bad.
Steven, the logo does say Ravens and Niners.
It's true.
But Taylor Swift is outweighing the fucking and Jason Kelsey's outweighing that stupid logo, in my opinion. That's the real script. The fucking it's the Swifty and Kelsey world, and we're all just fucking living in it, unfortunately.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Go Ravens. They're going to break everybody's heart. Everybody's going to be so pissed when Mahomes does it again.
Can you imagine all the Swifties? Especially, we saw so many like new Swifties start watching football because they're such fanatics of Taylor Swift that they have to watch it now that she's dating Travis Kelsey. And now the heartbreak of them not making the Super Bowl would just be, I don't know, it'd be awesome.
Well, I kind of think they just want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl just so that they can have that on the stage, but kind of me thinks they want the Chiefs to lose in the Super Bowl so they can see the memes of Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey crying out to the game. That actually might be the way to go, where the Chiefs lose in the Super Bowl to the Niners. I will be rooting for that. I can tell you what, if it is Chiefs, I don't even know if I want to fucking go to a Super Bowl party. I dealing with all the people talking about Taylor Swift and not the football. I hate the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like everything that like we don't like. It's not even about the football game. They happen to be playing a football game, but all the fucking show is so annoying.
I don't go to like Super Bowl parties anymore because there are so many like casual people that they just go because it's a Super Bowl party, and then they talk the whole time, and I'm like, stop it, stop!
Like,
I want to watch this game.
I'm trying to watch the
game. Nick saying, do you think Taylor Swift used her witchcraft power to have Diggs not make that catch? Very possible. Steven, when does Taylor show up in a State Farm commercial?
She used her fucking witchcraft for Jason Kelsey not to bust his ass when he jumped down on the icy bleachers. Somehow did not fall. That's one of the more impressive athletic stunts of last weekend is Jason Kelsey not busting his ass when he comes flying down drunk as hell. He's clearly drunk. He has his shirt off and it's 10 degrees and he somehow lands it. And I'm like, damn, he's still athletic as shit for that size. That was the most impressive thing of the weekend for me.
Right? Did you hear the conversation between he and his wife where he said, just so you know, I'm jumping out of this with my shirt off. And she goes, no, you aren't. And he said, it's not a question.
He made all the money in that house for all those years. He do whatever the hell he wants now. The best is when they were showing Swift and Mahomes' wife. And they're fucking hugging up or whatever the fuck they're doing. You just see Jason Kelsey in the background pounding a beer shirtless. I'm like, this guy is living his fucking best life. Good for him. Well earned. I fully endorse him retiring. I think he should really retire from the Eagles. I think it'd be great for him. It'd be great for me because I'm tired of the push. So let's go, Jason Kelsey. I'm a fan of you now, my friend. So, all right, enough bullshit. J Mark. Tell everybody where to find you, what we got going over on the old-fashioned football. I can't fucking talk.
Yeah, just check us out at Old Fashioned FB. Speaking of Juke and Denver Broncos, we're going to have the official whiskey sponsor of the Broncos, Breckenridge Distillery, on. We got 4 other distilleries planned right now. Going to do some crossover episodes with some other fantasy shows outside of SGPN just for fun, talk with them, get different opinions. We got a lot of stuff planned, so make sure you check it out.
You heard the man. Get over there and subscribe to the Old Fashioned Football. Subscribe to the College Experience. There every single night, picking every single college basketball game. I know everybody's a football fan in here, but you only got 3 games to gamble on. College basketball, there's fucking 70 of those puppies here tonight, and there's going to be 130 every single Saturday until March. So if you want to get down on some action, college basketball is where it's at. We'll see you guys Monday for the recap and a look ahead to the Super Bowl, and we'll see who's in it. All right, everybody. Enjoy the championship Sunday, and we will see you Monday. Let it ride.